Also overrided again. You gotta be kidding me. You gotta be shitting me. Oh, hang on, I think it's independent now. Okay, there we are. Okay. So that's the camera phone. That's the camera phone. I thought I could switch my other camera in. But I found the settings. It was under the audio mixer, switching, microphone, 2-channel stereo mixer, USB camera microphone. So I'm still using, even though I thought I might, even though I checked, and I'd deactivated the camera, but I tested on there. But hang on, wait a second. Like, hang on, just check and see if the camera is. Oh no, that is on. So there, that's it. That's looking at direct frequency response. I'm going to put it to. I'll turn that fader down. I'll bypass the EQ. Bypass the Behringer FBQ. I'll turn off the DCX PEQ. So I've got flat frequency response. Almost. Just needs a little adjusting. It's almost flat on the amplifier there. Just the camera in position. Yeah. What's the other adjustment on this camera? Oh, there. Right, adjustment there. That's better. Okay, that's better. It's fucking USB lead moving. It's very okay. Got it. Okay, so I'll have to use another PEQ on the DCX, and I'll go to my dynamic EQ. I'll turn it on. If the dynamic EQ uses up so much percentage on the it's kind of CPU sort of thing. Let's go up to 1 kilohertz. I'll cut the frequency down. Should go down. Hang on. It should have subtracted. Maybe I've got to have a certain dynamic range going into it, and I've got and got the sound of the fader turn up so high. So I've got the fader set pretty low. That's why the dynamic. Okay. I can remember the setting on the other PEQ. I've only got how many bands in it? I've only got 2 frequency bands. Okay. They're all set equally for the LCR. I'll just bring that level up. Okay, it should work now. We're on around 1 kilohertz. Or maybe try 2 kilohertz. Okay, I'll cut the frequency and there should be a nice even drop. There we go. There we go. So that looks pretty even. That's only using a Q bandwidth on the DCX at 10.0, which is kind of narrow band frequency, but not as narrow as what the FBQ would go to, because that would go even more narrow. Can't use this camera to zoom in on the OLED. You can see that's pure amplifier signal direct. We're monitoring through the THX sound system. If I widen the Q bandwidth from 10 and just widen it, it starts to take down a little bit more of the other neighboring frequencies below and above, as well as the sound pressure levels getting softer and quieter. The Q bandwidth is right now, and I'll turn the fader up. The Q bandwidth is set to about 0.1 Q bandwidth. So that meaning it's more or less going over the entire entire frequency spectrum. At least that's only monitoring on the HF horn amplifier. If I widen, narrow the Q bandwidth back inwards, it's going to get louder, as well as the frequency level is going to go upward. It's going to increase. See. The Q bandwidth that now is about 1.3 Q bandwidth. Um, 2.5. Whoops, dropped it down a bit. 2.8, 3.2, 3.5, 4, 4.5, 5.0, 5.6, 5.3, 7.1, 7.9, 8.9, and 10. So that shows what the Q bandwidth would do with subtracting a frequency, as well as the Q bandwidth at 10 takes down. It almost looks similar-ish to maybe let's just adjust it. sort of thing. Whoops, no, maybe go up a bit again. Maybe it almost looks like a crossover frequency between using a crossover on a low band, the LF channel and the HF channel, and the two, they look like a camel hump. Or just something that's going whoosh and then whoosh. So Q bandwidth at 10. And I'm just adjusting it. And the Q bandwidth is at now 0.1, which is very wide coverage over that part of the I think it's like maybe covering a 1 octave or such, like going right over, and it just brings down all the other neighboring frequencies, but the frequencies are still there. It's how you address the Q. But I can see and adjust the frequency up and down. So I can adjust the Q any shape within what it can do. That's making a nice, actually I kind of like that frequency curve. With a nice, it's subtracting some of the frequency down. So how I apply that Q. So it's better to look at it this way than, because even though I've got the microphone up, I could look at the other frequency, set it up so they'll play, so it displays simultaneously. Just mute that pink noise for a sec. I like it, but not when it's continuously play. It's low level. Open another Q, real RTA. Where's the level on the? Let's get this adjust there. Adjust that. Okay, put one up here. One up there. Get the other one. Actually, I'll probably move the other one over to the right, to the left. Move this one over there, and that one up over there. Bring those down a bit. Oh, getting really tired. I'm dozing off. Okay, so I've got two. So I'll open channel left. So I'll play the pink noise. So it's playing on channel left. I'll go to the other true RTA and turn on channel right. It's turned on. Turn on the go. And so I can see the frequency response, kind of like the trade-off by using the Q. But that's neither here or there, using the Q. Of course, I'm talking. You know, and it's not picking up on the camera phone now because I've sorted that out. So if I angle the microphone down so it's more focused, like if I tilt that, the sound goes a little bit dull. Go up, sounds gets a little bit more focused because of the off and on the the on axis, and then the off axis vertical, and then the horizontal off axis sort of thing. But there's a few frequencies that look sharp, or maybe a few frequencies that look less, more less, simply keep it that way. There's some less and there's some more. And it's looking at that the direct is more smooth. That's ideal. But when it comes in a room, it's the opposite. Actually, I think that 3.4 there looks a bit too high. And it can be lowered down. And this top of the spectrum here is going up to flat, up to maybe around starting about 8 kilohertz and all that, and that, yeah, and then rolling off. Even though I wouldn't mind the 16, the 20,000 or such going up a little bit higher. I'd probably have to put another filter in, but let's see if I could do that, because I still got the other filters programmed in. I might retune the tuning on the HF horns, but it's not just a case of retuning them. I really have to make them sound as if they sound like or tonally sound like the JBL 8330 mid-range and tweeter, not the bass driver, because I'm only playing the HF, and that goes down to a certain, you know. First, it's more like I will have to evaluate the frequency tone characteristic of the middle range and tweeter, so I can just turn off all the other speakers, mute them on the amplifier, and then undo the bass driver from there, take it out, and then that would isolate, you know, because then only the mid range and the tweet will be sounding, and listen to it, even though it's coming in at this angle, and that up there is coming down at this angle, and it's kind of moving my head around, moving the microphone a little bit this way, that way, and looking at the frequency response, and they're trying to make an evaluation to get the tonal characteristic of the HF horn to either sound like the 8330 or get the HF horn, or get the HF horn to sound like the 8330, or I'm really sleepy now. I know what I'm doing, but I just can't put it into a sentence. I'm so freaking sleepy. I need to go to bed. My bear's in the way. I can't activate the remote on the... He's in the way. There. There we go. Ugh. Oh my goodness me. That's pretty cool. You know, what I could do there. Very simple. and then I can measure the differences between the two. I need another third microphone, that second microphone that I got a little bit nearer to me, rather than, otherwise the microphone's going to pick up my modulation. So what I can really see is there's a significant roll off. It's only other way I can think of is maybe applying a passive crossover network to a DSP crossover network, DSP, that because it's running on DSP, but applying another passive filtering, so I could filtering the frequency curve theoretically, and because I could see the steep roll off on the red, which is the microphone picking up here. If I angle the microphone, it's just nudged up a little bit. It's just gone up a little bit. So I had to, it's just nudged the frequency up a bit. So that's ideally what it should be looking at. But it's still rolling up on the, because of the characteristic frequency on the I'll just mute the pink noise there. Crikey, it's making me. I'm really weird at the moment. Like I'm getting really sleepy. But I could it's good that I could do that, because that way I can see problems with the most other people might not do this feature, using this feature. Of course, I'm getting really sleepy, so I'm going to have to knock it on the head now. I'll come back and I'll probably do this again a little bit more. Maybe, I have to look into passive filters. Very simple, cheap passive filters to kind of, to kind of lower the frequency slightly, shape it without necessarily making any alteration to the original frequency response on the amplifier side, because I got to shape the frequency. So I'll put it on again. That looks ideal. I like the blue because that looks ideal. But red is the in-room frequency response. In-room. So it's like I've got to put quite a bit of filter in to kind of, actually, it's more the opposite. How do I get this boosted without necessarily boosting it with the amplifier or the gain level? How do I boost it at the HF horn end? Of course, if I move the microphone closer, everything changes, but I need to get the microphone in really close. So that means I have to pull the screen out, get the microphone behind the screen, and get it in really close on the HF horn, down through the throat on the HF horn, and then to see what the frequency curve looks like, as well as it might sound kind of resonant sort of thing, like, because as it goes down the throat, it's about, I think it's about that long. And then a little bit more as well, until it actually gets down to the phase plug And then the phase plug is so thick, not too thick, and then it gets down then to the diaphragm. But yeah, here, sloping off, your typical slope off, but it's elevated there. So I need some sort of filtering to kind of either shape the frequency there by, I think, subtracting around here and bringing it down quite a bit. But the trade-off there again is I would have to increase the amplifier power or the gain level on the DCX. I would have to, I can't stand this. Freaking, you try to aim for a flat. So maybe if I readjust the Q bandwidth and I shape it to more back to flat response. So I'll do that. Get the camera in position. Oh, I ain't gonna mute it now. I'll come back and experiment later on. My voice is sounding all weird now because I'm cream crackered. Oh my. So I'll come back later and have another try with it. Bon voyage. What's the camera? Is the camera moving? Oh, yeah. Oh, weird. Hypnotizing me.